We're literally seeing an epidemic of these issues in the United States right now.
Dr. Robert Melillo is the co-founder of Brain Balance Centers.
1 out of every 10 children in the United States now is diagnosed with ADHD, and that's a real increase.
My name is Dr. Robert Melillo. My life's mission is to help kids and families with special needs. My wife, Carolyn, makes it all possible. Welcome to our family.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Dr. Rob Show. I'm your host, Dr. Rob Melillo. This is my wife, Carolyn. Carolyn, in my 25 years of experience as a clinician, university professor, brain researcher, and author of many scientific papers and several books on autism spectrum disorders, including Disconnected Kids, Reconnected Kids, and Autism: The Scientific Truth about preventing, diagnosing, and treating autism spectrum disorders, I've heard all kinds of questions from people in all walks of life, like, what is autism, ADHD, dyslexia, OCD, Fragile X syndrome, Down syndrome? Why do some people have a harder time socializing than others? Why is my child struggling in school? And most importantly, can anything be done to help my child learn and socialize?
And then you hear all kinds of comments that try to explain or dismiss the behaviors, like the child isn't disciplined, or he or she has too much sugar in their diet, and that's why they're hyper, and comments like, they're an adult, they should know how to act like an adult. But these disorders in the autism spectrum are very real, and they're very difficult to deal with for everyone in the family.
That's very true. Did you know that autism right now affects 1 in 50 children in the United States? It's not just children, it's also adults. 30 years ago, it was 1 in 10,000. It's the fastest growing developmental disorder in the United States. But there is help out there for everyone, and there's information.
Absolutely. We know that autism is caused by an imbalance in the brain. If you stimulate the entire body with medications, you're only treating the symptoms temporarily, but not the problem. Brain balance focuses on the weaker side, strengthening it until it fully connects with the stronger side, functioning as a whole permanently.
That's what this show is about. Raising awareness of facts like that ADHD is the leading childhood disorder in the world. It's also the fastest growing adult disorder in the world. 75% of all medications that are prescribed are actually ADHD medications. 1 in 9 children are affected. 1 in 7 children have a learning disability like dyslexia. We see that right now in the United States this year, 1 in 4 children born this year are going to have some sort of developmental disability. This is the largest childhood epidemic. This is the most important social issue of our time, and nobody is giving this information out there in the mainstream media, certainly, to these parents, and that's what our show is all about.
It's unbelievable.
So later on in the show, we're going to meet Sue Sullivan. Sue's son, Danny, struggles with autism. He's had great difficulty in transitioning in certain new situations, and sometimes he would have emotional outbursts, which is common. Many people assume when they see this that this may be the result of bad parenting, and in fact, it's not. It's a neurological condition, and it's very real, and it's like ADHD, Asperger's, OCD, and Tourette's, and it's the result of a right hemisphere delay. And it's almost always diagnosed with one of these 3 other issues because they're really the same neurological issue. What we see is, again, when we look at things like ADHD, 70% of children with ADHD are always diagnosed with at least 1 or 2 other labels, and that's most commonly OCD and Tourette's, because it's really the same thing, because what the right brain does is really suppress certain behaviors, and the left brain is really about creating more obsessions and compulsions, and we'll talk more about that. And as you can imagine, this disorder can be very difficult, if not just for the one who's diagnosed. Quite often it's even worse for the people around them, him or her, especially the parents.
Rob, it can be especially difficult on parents with young children with this disorder. Moms and dads, especially moms, tend to put their children's needs first and not think about their own needs. It's so important for parents not to forget about themselves. So to help, I've decided to treat Sue to a makeover, a mom boost.
Okay, well, hold that thought, Carolyn, because we need to take a break right now. But stick around, because after the break, Carolyn will talk to Sue and do a makeover. And then later in the show, I'll have a chance to really sit down with Sue and speak with her about her son, Danny, how he was diagnosed, what courses of action they took, and how Danny is doing today. So stick around. We'll be right back.